And here we are today. So excited to be here with all of you. So, as you know, on our channels, we've been talking about and sharing about our I Fund Women by Honeycomb Credit crowdfunding campaign. And one thing that I think is just absolutely wonderful is that this journey is not unique to me. It's not unique to other women out there. And so I just wanted to share a little bit and just share how thrilled I am to share and stand and sit and just share space with you, empower all of you who are listening in and taking a peek at this journey. And maybe it's creating a little bit of interest. Maybe it's building a little bit of courage. And if that's the case, then I feel like I've done my duty in sharing my story. So if you haven't met me before, I'm Dr. Myra Austin. I'm the CEO and founder of Management Cues, and we are currently crowdfunding, like I mentioned. We have a unique program that's based in science, that's scientifically proven to work. And that's been supported by some phenomenal professionals today, one of which you are going to meet today. And so let me share a little bit about her and a little bit about this journey. So I'm sharing a little bit behind the scenes. I'm sharing a little bit of my own feelings of why this is important. And it's not just about me and not just about management cues. So joining me today is someone I deeply, deeply admire, Orion Brown. So I hope I got that right.
You nailed it. You got it.
Yes. Okay. So winning, my first win of the morning. So she is an absolute powerhouse, a brand strategist. She is also a founder. She's the founder of Black Travel Box and now has her firm OCS Consulting. So aside from all those amazing things, she's been my coach and mentor with I Fund Women by Honeycomb Credit. And I wanted to share her with you because she absolutely changed my perception of what we were doing, what funding meant to women of color, to women who sit in the gap and have a phenomenal idea. And maybe you feel stuck, right? And I did. I felt stuck. I had this brilliant idea. I had clients coming in, and yes, it was working. And I had science behind it, and I had all of these things. But there's a method to the madness. I don't know how else to say it. And so Orion helped me tie those things together with her expertise, with her own story and her own journey, and made me feel seen. And so that could be extremely powerful. If you're out there listening and you resonate with this, that could be the one thing that activates your genius. And I am taking that phrase from my colleague, Danielle Nava Mijares. So if you're out there, I took it, I stole it for this instance. So again, I'm introducing to you Orion. Orion, thank you so much for being here and for just bonding with me and for allowing me to share space with you today.
I
Um,
always love sharing space with you. Always. Always.
Thank you. Thank you. So, with that said, I'd love to kick things off with you sharing a little bit about your story and your journey as a founder and connecting that to crowdfunding.
Yeah, so like many of you out there that are watching, I'm hoping you have great ideas, you have great products, you have things that you want to bring to the world, and you're trying to figure out like I know how to do the thing, but how do I get the thing done? That was me. And I it was one of those things that like when I started Black Travel Box, I was working in tech and really missed having my hands in a product and had ran into this challenge myself of every time I would travel, I never had like the products that I needed. I couldn't buy them locally. And so the hair and skincare routine for a vacation is like a whole thing, right? The packing and all of that. And so as I started to develop out this idea for the brand and what it was, I dipped back into my background, which is in brand strategy and brand marketing, and began to do all the things that I knew to do. And so in my mind, entrepreneurship was meritocracy. Don't laugh at me, y'all. In my mind, it was. right? And so I was like, this is great. I have the idea. I'm doing all the things I need to do. Now I just need to go out and pitch some investors and get this thing funded so I can get the team that I need and, go execute and go build this. And I spent about a year trying to get funding for this idea. And besides the many challenges of just walking into the room and people turning their ears off as soon as they see me, right? Or, the the setbacks of talking to people and them trying to change the idea. Well, does it really have to be about Black travelers? Don't you think it's a little small, it's a little niche, all of these things, right? There was that, but then there was also there's no funding here. And I didn't know that Black women founders were getting less than a 0.5% of all funding, and especially in the VC sector. And so to me, the math wasn't mathing, and I had to find a way to bring this to life. And so as I was bootstrapping and continued to bootstrap, I discovered, like Columbus, this idea of crowdfunding, right? And it's out there. I had known about crowdfunding for a while. I had known about some of the other platforms, but the thing that I had liked particularly about the iFund Women platform at the time, it's now IFW by Honeycomb, was that there was a component of like coaching and community and things that were just, you're not just getting on a platform and just figuring it out yourself. And so I raised two different rounds on the platform. I won't even call them rounds. I raised two different campaigns, launched two campaigns, raised just under about 77K across the two. And that was a really great kicking off point for me. I was able to do a lot with my business in those years that I was doing that because I had that direct access to funding that didn't require me to pay it back, that I could, sell things that were accessible to me. And it just made things really simple. So that's how I kind of ended up in sort of the crowdfunding ecosystem. And later I was asked to join because of the successes that I had had in crowdfunding myself on the platform.
Amazing. So similar feelings I had, right? I was nervous, I was scared, and I don't even know how I got Orion assigned to me, but I do feel it was a little bit of divine intervention, because I couldn't have gotten just a better coach and mentor. And just like you said, I went through that thought process. I had talked to many mentors, and I was like, I got that feedback of, well, what if you change it? And a lot of people do management training, and in my head, I was like, no, I'm quantifying the experience as their training. I'm giving proven results. I can tie it to a return on investment. This is Disneyland for training. And I don't know how else to say it. And so,
Yeah.
I Googled, and that's how it started. I found iFund Women and then instantly felt the feeling of community. So I know you're not their only coach, but that feeling of just being accepted and not having to be immediately changed, or challenged in a safe space. You guys provide structure and programming around it that to me is life altering. Another question that I wanted to have you kind of elaborate on and share your insights on is how difficult it is for us to kind of feel validated, right? What has been your experience in coaching other women entrepreneurs? Because I think we don't share these experiences enough that we have in common. It's scary for all of us. It doesn't matter how smart or brilliant we might be.
Yeah. I, you know, I think that there's this idea of imposter syndrome. And I think that it's gotten too much play within particularly the women of color, like the BIPOC women community, because there is such a thing as walking into a space and feeling like you don't belong there and not having the self-esteem and kind of feeling like, oh, but there's a very different thing when the environment around you is telling you those things, right? And
Yeah.
so in that case, it's more of a gaslight than it is any internalized syndrome, right? Maybe it articulates itself as this thing, but at the end of the day, I think we are taught in actions and in words, by the people surrounding us what we're capable of. And that typically is louder when
Yeah.
you show up in a black or brown body and it happens to be female. And it's just like, that's been my experience. And so as I talk to and I've coached women, and I've coached women who are not BIPOC, right? And they, and there's been some really remarkable women that I've had the opportunity of working with, and they're like, I've got a PhD, I've got this, that, and the other, but I'm not sure that I can do this. And it's like that that collective cultural gaslighting of, "Well, why would you not think that you could do this?" Well, when I tell people about my idea, like they kind of, oh, okay, that's cute. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty persistent. And so a lot of the things that, when it comes down to it, especially when we talk about like raising funding, um, the fundraising and the coaching process around that, I think is almost a therapeutic thing because it
Yeah.
brings up and it really forces us to face what we truly believe about ourselves and our business, because
Yeah.
people invest in businesses based off of the founder. They, arguably the numbers are there, but there's plenty of opportunities to like invest in different things. So it really does come
Yeah.
down to the founder, the team, like the vision, that kind of thing. And so when we're asked to sit down and write a pitch and get people excited, and how do you tap into emotion, that's going to open up those conversations of, why would anybody care? Do I really
Yeah.
believe anybody cares? Am I going to stuff this with numbers because I don't believe anyone actually cares? Or am I going to tell them the story? And so
Yeah.
I think that's been the most pervasive thing of just really bubbling up those sort of cultural societal insecurities, and it articulates itself in ways that are just, you just go, oh my gosh, but you're
Yeah.
phenomenal. You're
Yeah.
phenomenal. Like why would you
Yeah.
not, be able to
Yeah.
say it with your full chest? So yeah, I
But
hope
that
I
wake
answered the question.
that wake up call is exactly what Orion did for me, you guys. So here's the thing. Like she said, wait a minute, right? She checked me along the way, but it was safe. It
With
was
love.
safe
Yes.
with love and humor and grace and everything that this woman embodies. And it honestly, it forced me to think things through. Even when I was thinking about what rewards can I offer that link up to what we're doing that provide value to somebody else? And I'll have you kind of elaborate on this piece because I didn't know about this. So there's different types of crowdfunding campaigns, right? So now I can actually uplift women too with the knowledge that
Yeah.
Orion has imparted on me. But one of the things that I think really stood out from the iFund Women platform was their structure around a rewards based
Mhm.
crowdfunding campaign, which again, it's helping you really structure your thinking around one, gaining capital or funding and what you have to offer, thinking of yourself as a founder and moving away from that worker bee mentality. So if you could, Orion, share with us a little bit about that kind of rewards based type of crowdfunding.
Well, I mean, everybody's, if you guys haven't been to the Management Cues page on iFund Women, you can check out, there's tons of great rewards there. I'm gonna plug you. I'm gonna plug you. But not
We
only
have
that,
to,
like
right?
this is, so here's the beauty of rewards-based crowdfunding. Um, Especially if you're like, if I'm pre-revenue, or I'm I have an idea and I don't usually have a thing to sell, or if you're like, I sell a very specific thing and that's not the right kind of thing for you know, this venue. What do I do? The beauty of it is you can sell the idea. You can sell swag around the idea. You can sell cooking classes if you want to. It doesn't matter what you actually sell to people. You're just selling people things that they want in service of collecting the money to support and run and pivot and whatever else you want to do with your business. And so I think that that's kind of the really fun part about it is that it's, while you do have to put in the work, it is a lower friction way to go out and do what you need to do. When you're pitching somebody cold and you're like, I just want you to buy a part of my business, give me money for it, and then like you're just going to own a piece of it. Like that's a hard sell. That's a hard
Yeah.
sell to go out and pitch like deep investors. And especially if you're like, well, actually all I need is like 15, $20,000, right? Or maybe even 50. Like that's not even something that you necessarily want to go to angels and certainly not VCs for. And so having this ability to just to have an ecosystem that people understand the concept of, yeah, cool, I'm going to buy something cool from you and I get to support you at the same time is, I think, just a really turnkey way to do it. I've seen people do rewards that had nothing to do with their business at all. It's like I've got a macrame class and my friends know they love macrame, and so I'm going to do this class and the money is going to be basically go to my business idea. Or they do things that are straight up like we're going to pre-sell our products, we're going to pre-sell the services, we're going to, sell tickets to the trip that we're putting together, whatever it might be. And so that flexibility, I think, also enables you to mobilize your network a lot better, right? Because not
Yeah.
everybody wants to invest in a business. Let's just be
Yeah.
honest. Not
Yeah.
everybody wants to invest in your business. Not that there's anything wrong with your business, but
Yeah.
like that's not good. But when you have a little something for everyone where they're like, heck yeah, I'll get a t-shirt and say I supported you.
Yeah.
Like that's just a
Yeah.
no-brainer. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it easy. I think the other thing that I've learned, and I just continue learning from Orion, so I just want to keep her forever and in my pocket, which we'll talk a little bit about in a minute. But I learned also what people like, right? And some of our awards, if you check out our campaign, by the way, you could click our link in bio and it's linked there. Um, see, I'm learning. See, I'm such a good learner.
On
Um,
it.
you can start to see what people are attracted to if you do include some components of your business in it, or just things that people are interested in. And so, one thing that I've noticed, and we just got started, right, is that people are liking the vibe of the management cues hoodies. People are liking the vibe of the equity package representing an equitable workforce, right? And so, I think historically, yes, our model is going to make a significant difference in the workforce, and it's a different way of introducing and reducing the gap in the workforce. But ultimately, we're in a time historically where we need to champion the reality of who makes up the workforce, right? So that's something that to me is very valuable. And I love seeing it. And so even if it's $5, $10, 45, I genuinely feel it in my soul every time I see the alert come up, because I'm like, yes, this is for the betterment of us all, right?
Yeah.
So I think those types of things, being an operations leader, I always look at trends. I always look at, what is the story saying about company, about the workforce, about people. And so with that in mind, I was very excited to see that Orion started her consulting firm, because she has so much value to offer. And in such a short time, I think we've worked together maybe 6 or 7 months in getting this ready, but it's been life altering for me. So tell us a little bit about OCS Consulting and what you're doing there.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is it's been on like a slow simmer for several years. So, for those of you who are like multiple stream girlies like me, we can have multiple streams, right?
Yeah.
I was doing freelance consulting for larger companies, and then I created my LLC around that and just kind of did it quietly as I would get, recommendations here and there, and projects would pop up. And so I more formalized my website in the last, I would say, 6 months, or actually probably even less, probably the last 3 months. And but I really use this as a hub because there's so many things that I end up doing, speaking at events. Forte Foundation's having a big conference here in Denver in about a month, and I'll be speaking at that and leading a workshop, or leading a fireside chat actually. And so there's like different speaking engagements. There's that direct one-on-one coaching and consulting. So I work with small businesses. I've worked with, one of my first clients was actually one of my old bosses from a billion years ago, who started her own like diversity, equity, inclusion consulting business. And she wanted to understand like how to take what she did corporately and provide that to nonprofits without losing her profit, right? And how
Yeah.
do you kind of create these pricing ecosystems for small businesses? But I've also worked with like startups in the supplement space and like major product launches for like companies like Unilever. So all of those different things are sort of encompassed with the umbrella of OCS. And most recently, I just started really connecting with folks that were looking for coaching just sort of outside of the funding realm. I think funding is obviously within the wheelhouse as well. And so I was like, you know what, y'all, here, this is the thing. There are packages, you can get that, and we can work together. So I've just started to formalize it, and it's been really fun working with. I've gotten a chance to just work with some amazing startups and founders. So
Yeah, well, you're amazing. You're amazing. And I just want to throw this out there. Like I literally share bits and pieces with Orion, and she will send me the most comprehensive thought. And I just love it because as soon as I hear her speak or connect the dots, I think to myself, I completely missed that. Like I completely didn't see, and I'm a very linear thinker, so it could be that I'm just not, I don't know. I just don't
yeah.
have that part of how I process information. And so for me, she's helped me understand my business a little bit different. I
Mhm.
also look forward to hopefully, working with her in the future as we continue to scale management cues. So I just think she's amazing at what she does. And connecting with others through your marketing, through your branding, through your business concept, it's not easy. It is a complete science and art. And so the mastery plays out and it makes your job so much easier. It mitigates the risk of failing, and I've just experienced all of it. So thank you so much. I'm going to ask you one more question, and then
Yeah.
we can go ahead and wrap this amazing conversation up with a pretty little bow. um, you're working with startups, you're working with women like me that have these ideas and concepts. What would you say stands out to you based on that experience when you think of management cues or what you've learned about me so far?
You know what? So number one, the fact that you're science backed is just wild and awesome. Like putting points on the board with like proven outcomes is crazy. It's crazy work because it's, I mean, some of the biggest businesses out there, some of the biggest brands. I'm from, consumer goods. In terms of my background, a lot of them can't put those types of points on the board and say we've proven it, right? So when you have a company that, and it doesn't matter what the product is, to be frank, but when you have a company that has been able to create a point of efficacy and clarity as to exactly what you do, and you're able to back that up with numbers, like that is dynamite. But at the end of the day, management cues isn't anything without you. And so you as a founder, I think, is you're the magic, right? And that's what makes the company stand out. I mentioned briefly earlier, like people invest in founders, not necessarily companies. And so, the vision, I mean, unless you're like a massive Apple that's been around for like 40, 50 years at this point, people are really taking the time to understand who you are, and it sometimes it's the feels, sometimes it's not. But I love that you're intelligent, you're driven, you're determined. And even if you have those moments that you're like, "Ooh, I'm not right. I'm not quite sure what am I supposed to be doing with this? Like how do I navigate this new thing?" You have a sense of self-awareness and determination that I haven't seen you blink at anything that I've told you, right? Like I'm like, okay, so we need to do this way, and you're like, bet I'm gonna do this, and that stick to itiveness, that tenacity, backed by capability and more than capability, I think is what makes I know what you're going to do it will be successful and in whatever direction you take it in. And so I'm just really proud to have had a part in helping you sort of figure out this next stage of your journey as you're building out management cues and you're scaling it, because it's impactful work, it's important work. And that is that's the crux of it. You're sort of the center. Everything is revolving around you, and as it should, because that's what's going to move this forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so I want all of the women out there with an idea to hear that. And I want
Yeah.
what the resounding phrase that I want you to hear from what she said is you are the founder. It's you. And I had to learn that slowly, and it was difficult going through this kind of mind shift.
Mhm.
But I am so excited and proud to say that I Fund Women helped me get there. And Orion was just, she was such a big monumental piece of it because I did feel a lot of what we talked about today. And being an authentic leader, I think, is coming to terms with the fact that you can be that vulnerable. It can be that scary, but you're also not alone. So that's the reason why I wanted to not be selfish and share
Yeah.
Orion with you this morning so that you could hear it from somebody who's out there doing it, who's out there offering this kind of support. It changes the game. It really does. And now we're doing different things because of it. So with that said, let me go ahead and close us out today. Thank you, Orion, for being here, for taking the time. I truly believe that we're out here making history. I actually did some research and went live with some family and friends yesterday and shared that I am, in fact, the first Latina to own a neuroscience backed, scientifically proven management, leadership, and training company in the US at this time. So I did look it up and I am the first. So this is history in the making, one way or another. Management Cues is different, and everybody that's a part of it, Orion, our team, everybody that's supporting, is elevating this historic moment, right? So we have the power to transform. That's what this Instagram live talk was about, is sharing that with you and knowing that you might be sitting out there like I was, feeling stuck, feeling scared, full of brilliance, and still is stepping back and forth. So just wanted to say, you can do it. You can do it. Ask us questions. You want to get in contact with Orion about OCS Consulting and what she offers, let me know. I will be sharing that on our channels, but feel free to reach out. I'm as human as you can think of, I'm here for you. I'm here for everybody. And I just want us to rise above. And that's really what today is about. So thank you so much for joining us. Orion, again, mwah. Love
Mwah.
you.
Thank you,
Love
Dr.
you. Love
Myra.
you.
You're
Love
the
you.
best.
All right, you guys, have an amazing rest of your week. Thank you so much for joining us.